Well, fuck. Guess we're doing this in two parts. So, double defense for your hearts, and the the fourth one is the Great Fairy Sword, which is basically the equivalent of the Bigoron Sword, but you can actually equip it to an item slot this time, which is pretty cool, actually. Um, so yeah, that's pretty awesome. Love that. Um, where was I going with that? Anyway, so you need these stray fairies. So one stray fairy that you need to get in the Stone Tower Temple, a lot of them are you have to like flip the dungeon, and that's how you get these stray fairies, and they're really annoying sometimes. One of them you can do though, there's a switch that you have to hit, and then you would have to flip the dungeon, but you can set a bomb on a very specific spot, and the bomb will hit the switch, so you don't have to even flip the dungeon, and I felt really smart for thinking of just putting a bomb there. That was cool. So, yeah. I really enjoyed that. I like having those kind of moments and thinking about stuff like that. Anyway, so, yeah. Lots of little cool things like that, and lots of things you have to think about and really ponder on in this game, and I think that's cool. So there's a lot of little alternate, like, side dungeons. So there's the Akana Kingdom side dungeon, which you need to get the song, the Elegy of Emptiness, the song that everyone loves. Now, I will say, so, I don't know if I said this earlier, they should have just made that song into an item. Maybe give you one less bottle or whatever, because you get like fucking 7 of them in this game, or 8 of them or something. It's a lot. Well, let's count them. So you get one from the main game. You have to give the red potion to Kome in the forest. You get the one from Romani for saving the ranch. You get the Chateau Romani one from doing the cafe side quest from his mom at the very end. Also, there's a branching path to that, which is pretty cool. You get this mail at the end that you're supposed to give to his mom, but you can also give it to the mail guy. That's how you get the postman's hat. So that's cool. Like, little branching things that you can do there. So there's 3. You get the one from the beavers. There's a beaver mini game where you have to race these beavers to these rings. Basically Superman 64 with the Zora Link things. That's pretty cool. And you have to do it 4 times too, which is ridiculous, but that's how you get the heart piece. The first 2 times you do to get the bottle, and then you do it 2 more times to get the heart piece. So, pretty insane. And there's the one from Dampy in the graveyard. You have to, like, lead him to these lights. That part's kind of annoying, too, I will say. But all you have to do is Z-target him. I know he moves super slow, but as long as you're Z-targeting him, he'll be moving towards you. If you're playing on emulation, just speed it up, fast forward, whatever. That's what I did. Still annoying, but, whatever. So that's 5. There's probably like another one I'm not thinking of. Oh, the gold dust one. That's 6. Maybe there was 6. Maybe that was it. Maybe there's actually 6. In the last game there was 4. So 6. That would make sense. Yeah. Anyway, so you got a lot more bottles this time. So if you just take out like one of those and you just put another item there, that would have fixed that. That would have been a lot easier. People would have been like much less critical of that part. And that would have really fixed the Stone Tower Temple for me, because playing that song a billion times, and especially with the analog stick, is just tedious and unnecessary. I don't know what kind of item you would have made it, but like, just like some kind of duplication rod or something like that. The 4 sword or something, I don't fucking know. Like something to that effect, They did it in later games, so it's like, yeah, might as well have done that. So, yeah. Like, it's cool, because, like, okay, so, let's back it all up, right? So you do the first 3-day cycle, and you're a Deku the whole time. Then, you get revived, you get the Song of Healing, the masked man freaks out on you, for not getting back Majora's Mask, and so, you go around and you start doing these dungeons. Now that you're human, they'll actually let you outside of town. And so that's cool. So you can start going around. First place you're supposed to go is the swamp. And pretty much you have to do these linearly. Linear. It has to be linear. You have to do them in order, essentially. I could have just said that. Um, so, yeah, you got to do them in order, which is no big deal. But, like, yeah. So you start with the swamp, and you get to use your Deku form that you had, because you just get a mask, and then you can put that mask on anytime and become a Deku, and you get to fly on these little flower things, or whatever. It's really cool. It's like a cool new mechanic to the game. Like, oh wow, cool, the Deku's like neat. He's got this little bubble thing you can shoot out. You have Deku nuts, you can drop them down below you while you're flying. It's awesome. It's great. You know, he kind of sucks, but he's not the worst one, but he's also not the best one either. I think I like the Zora one the best, but you know, of course, fucking Majora's Mask 3D over here fucking nerfed Zora Link as it was, so, but you know, it is what it is. That's why I kind of don't really like this version as much. It's pretty good. It's about as awesome as you can get for a remake, but it's no Ocarina 3D where they didn't like touch. They just left it be. You know, they kind of fucked up a few things, and that's kind of disappointing. One of the things is when you're hopping, when you're the Deku, you can hop on water. You know, in the swamp, it's kind of like poisonous water or whatever. So if you swim through it as Link, you're gonna die, essentially. So you can hop on it like 5 times as the Deku, but what they did in this game was they made the things spaced out farther, and they made the jumping worse. So it's actually a lot harder to get to each one, and not in a good way. It's harder. It's just worse in a lot of sense, and I hate that. And that's one of. They just fucked up all the forms, really. Except for the, like, Goron. I think they did alright with, but, like, they didn't change anything. And that was how it was good. Was because it was good before. The Zora, they fucked up the swimming and whatnot. Yeah. But anyway, so you get 4 different masks in this game. I mean 3, like, main ones, but, like, there's a 4th one, too. It's, like, the giant mask. You only get to use it in one dungeon. In one room to fight the Stone Tower Temple boss, Twin Mold, with 2 giant snakes, and then you like fight him. I hate in Majora's Mask 3D as well. They changed all the bosses, not the bosses themselves, but how you fight them. So in that game, you have to fight Twin Mold by like you like hold him and like swing him around and shit. It's so bad. It's so bad. It's the worst fucking thing. It's awful. But in the regular game, the good one, they actually do that fight really well. You know, all you have to do is you're just giant now, and as long as you have magic, you can just fuck slash those guys. You know, it's a lot like the Link to the Past fight actually, where the guys are like coming up from, and they bury down again and come up and bury down. It's kind of like Volvagia as well. It's a lot like that fight. Now that I'm thinking about it. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. The different forms, they're all based on these like characters too that like died, so like you get to kind of assume the role of those characters, and that's so you're basically pretending to be those dead people, which is kind of fucked up, but you know, this is the dark Zelda game, so aside from like Twilight Princess, I guess, or something, but not even like, oh, we're dark and edgy, we're emo. It's like, no, this game is like, the tone is dark, but it's like the game itself is not like edgy and whatever. It's just like it's somber and emotional, and that's kind of dark I like to see, you know. Edgy is just dumb most of the time. I'm glad they didn't make this that game, so. Anyway, so, you know, of course there's the famous theory that the Deku that you are playing as the whole time is the Deku Butler's son from later in the game, who gives you the scent mask and challenges this whole thing, and you get to see his tree, like, corpse there, essentially, at the beginning of the game. You walk right past it before you get into town there. And you can see that in the credits, him kind of weeping over this, and so that's very tragic as well. Is maybe even Skull Kid killed this this guy or turned him into just a tree or whatever, um, and then put that personality or that spirit onto you, that persona, as it were. You know, it's kind of like Persona actually. Um, so yeah, like, so you get the 3 different ones. You heal like a great Goron warrior, essentially. You heal his spirit and you get his soul. And so people are all referring to you as this guy. And the other one is like he's in the Zora band. So you actually have to help the Zora band, and the lead singer of the Zora band, this lady, she laid these like Zora eggs, which now that I'm thinking about it, are probably implied to be the guy's eggs that you are his eggs, because they're, you know, close or in a relationship, so it seems, or whatnot. You know, so his babies essentially. You have to go steal them back from the pirate fortress, and then like the pinnacle, they call it Pinnacle Rock, which was like very similar to Spectacle Rock, which is like kind of that's kind of like what it looks like, you know, like in Zelda 1 or whatever. So that's kind of cool, little good reference there. Also, like, no, it has to be. So when you're in the swamp, you can see in the distance like Death Mountain or something. Like, what's that about? Like, where's that in the game? It's not in the game, but it's like you can see it in the distance or whatnot, if I'm remembering this correctly. And so it's like, oh wow, like that's interesting, but you never get to go there. You say like, oh, maybe it's the mountains, but it's like, no, but it can't be the mountains because they're all snowy or whatever, and it looks like a volcano or whatnot. It's just interesting, little maybe nod to the previous game there, maybe an unused area. I don't know, something, whatever, you know. Or maybe I'm just crazy and I'm misremembering this or something, but I'm pretty sure that's there. So yeah, like, each of these new forms has a new way of shaking up the gameplay. Like I said, with the Deku, you can fly, and then you can do a few things with that. And they kind of put these things throughout the game to help you traverse dungeons and do puzzles and whatnot. The Goron can roll really fast, and then you start building up, and you have like this spiked roll. So you actually use that against the boss at the Snowhead Temple. You have to like chase him down, and you're like there's little magic things, because it takes magic to do it. So there's little magic like jars there the whole way, and you just kind of run through them, and then you like boom boom, you hit him. In the 3DS remake, they added an asshole for some reason. I don't know what the fuck did you do with Majora's Mask 3D? At least the fight was like pretty much the same in that version. But yeah, so that's pretty cool. So the rolling form thing, and then he also has pretty good like strength. You like get to punch with him and stuff, so that's pretty good. If you fall into water as him, like he'll just sink, and then you'll like respawn wherever the last checkpoint was. Similarly with the Deku, if you fall into fire, then you just burn up and you go to the last checkpoint. So, but the Goron, he can actually walk on fire as well, or like lava or whatnot. Not fire, but lava he can walk on. So that's pretty cool. So that's another neat little element there. And then the Zora is like the best power up, because it's like you get to swim. And the swimming in this game, I don't know what people are talking about. There are people who don't like the swimming in this game. I'm like, no, it's like perfect, dude. I love the swimming. It's wow. It feels like really visceral. It's the best swimming, and especially in an N64 game, especially of this era, like definitely the best swimming. Like even Banjo-Kazooie has its like troubles. Like it's definitely not precise, but this is very precise. I very much think it's a very well implemented swimming thing. You know, Mario 64 swimming, like, yeah, that sucked. You know, this is really good. Like, wow, like, holy shit, Zelda did it. You know, of all things. So you can swim. You have these fins that like shoot out. They're kind of like the boomerang, because that's not in this game. So they're kind of like the equivalent of that. So that's really cool. And then you have this like shield thing that like it's like this like electric barrier around you that's like blue, and you can use it to like hurt enemies and stuff. And the fucking remake, they make it like tied to your um like that's how you swim fast. It's just doing that. Like you have to do the magic barrier shield thing just to swim fast, which is stupid because that drains magic. So like in this game, you can just swim fast whenever the fuck you want. That's awesome. And yeah, there's no reason to put a restriction on that. It's really dumb. And I love that though. I just love the swimming. It feels really good in this game, and you feel really precise. And based on how you're doing, you can even get some like air and like jump up onto certain areas, or like kind of like when you're doing the ring thing, you like jump up through the ring, get some air. Like you dive down, you like, like it's fucking awesome. It's like really good. So like yeah, each of the forms are super awesome, unique, and special, and just really good. So yeah, I love all of the forms of that you get to turn into. The other masks, basically, I'm trying to think. Like, I know what all of the other masks are. I'm just like, hold on a second. All right, sorry. So there's the all-night mask. That's the one I was talking about earlier. You have to do all that obscure shit to get. It basically lets you stay up, like, through Andrew's grandmother's stories, so you can get 2 heart pieces based off of that. You get the Blast Mask, I talked about that one earlier. The Bremen Mask, which lets you do a side quest where there's these chicks at this ranch. This is actually how you get the bunny hood. At the ranch, there's, like, little chicks of the cuckoos, and you have to, like, lead them around, and then, basically... once you get them all, they evolve essentially into cuckoos, and then you get the bunny hood. So definitely one of the coolest. Like that's one of the best quests there, because you get the bunny hood, and the bunny hood is awesome. The bunny hood, obviously. The captain hat you get later on. You have to like in the graveyard, you have to wake up this like giant skeleton dude, and then you basically chase him down and like shoot him. And then if you can do that enough times before he like gets out of your sight, you can you get this captain hat, which lets you just basically interact with all of the stall children like everywhere, and you can talk to them and stuff, and they'll like open up graves for you, and like in the Skulltula house there, they'll give you hints on how to like finish some of the puzzles and stuff. It's pretty cool. Circus leader mask, you get that from doing the like side quest with Crema and all that. After you do the Romani Ranch original side quest, basically, there's really not much of a use for it. Oh, I'm sorry. That's not the one. You have to do... Oh my god, I'm so stupid. What am I talking about? I'm fucking stupid. Alright, that's the one where you go and you help the Gorman brother, the third Gorman brother. Is he a Gorman brother? He looks like the other Gorman brother. He has to be the third Gorman brother, the traveling troupe guy. Basically, you go and like perform the song at the milk bar for him, and he's like, "Oh man, I remember this song." Like his whole thing is like his performances are getting canceled. Like his whole troupe was supposed to perform at the festival. They're the carnival or whatever, and they're canceling the carnival, so now he can't perform. So he goes to the milk bar and just drinks himself all the time, and you can see him. He's all really frustrated the whole time, and anytime you talk to him, he's like, "Get out of my way, rah! Fuck you," basically. And so you go and help him at the milk bar, and you play him this song, and it was actually the song they had played, back in the day when he first got into like acting and whatnot. And he's like, "Oh man, this is the song that got me into acting," and it's just like a really emotional moment there where you help him out, and you kind of the layers start to crack, and you get to see, wow, this he's cool, he's actually like a good guy. He just had a lot of shitty stuff happen to him, So yeah, the couple mask I already explained, the Deku mask. Okay, so there's the Don Gero mask. you get this from helping this Goron who's like freezing. Um, Essentially, in the Goron village, there's a place where there's like this crying baby Goron. It's part of the whole main quest where you have to like get the song from it. And but if you like light all the torches in there, there's like these things that like spin, and you have to like do your rolling dash thing off of this ramp to like knock at each of them. Um, and you get this big rock sirloin. Then you take it to this other Goron village, and you throw it up to this guy. He'll give you the Don Giro mask, and then it leads to one of the fucking like most hard side quests. That's not hard, but it's just like the most involved side quests in the entire game, because you have to literally go to 3 different dungeons. You only have to complete one. You only have to complete Snowhead, but you have to have Snowhead completed, so it's springtime in the area. Also, that's awesome that the areas all change in some way after you complete them. That's very Tomba-esque, and I'm very down for that. The most noticeable one, though, is Snowhead, because it becomes spring. Akana Valley, nothing really happens, and, like, the Zora one, you get, like, one extra mini game, and, like, same with the, like, the swamp, like, the water, like, isn't poisonous anymore, but, like, Snowhead, like, wow, like, it really changes everything over there, and it's really cool. So, that's a really good... I wish they would have kind of done that for all the areas, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. You get to see the effects of what you did there. That would have been really nice. So yeah, you get this Don Giro mask. He's a frog, so essentially you've been seeing these frogs throughout the game. Actually, 2 of the mini bosses that you fight are frogs, and that's what I'm saying. You have to actually go and fight those mini bosses again to gather all of these frogs. And there's a few other random frogs throughout the world. There's one in the swamp, one in town, and that kind of stuff. And so you go and gather all these frogs, and then they play a song, they give you a heart piece. That's kind of how this works. But it's a very involved side quest. There's a lot going on there, and you have to do a lot of different stuff to get that one. The Fierce Deities mask is actually the mask you get for completing all of the other 23 masks. If you get all of those, you get the Fierce Deities mask. Basically, it turns into Adult Link, but like God Adult Link, where like you have these like you can only use it on the final boss and like every other boss once you once you beat the game, because you get it up on the moon. Like once you've completed like everything else, you have to hand in all of your masks. As long as you got all the other masks, you will get this mask, and it is broken. Basically, you just target it and you start slashing, and it sends these like little like these things, these blasts at Majora there, and it's you can't lose. It's impossible to lose with this thing. It's amazing. It's the best thing, but it's too broken. So this time I did it without doing that, and I think I did that last time too. And it's a pretty decent fight if you do it without the Fierce Deity, but there's nothing like having that Fierce Deity's mask and just fucking him up. That's awesome. Garo mask you get from racing the Gorman brothers. It's very similar to the where you have to get Epona in the original like Ocarina of Time there, where you race the guy. They're very similar to that. But you get this Garo mask, and you can actually the only reason you need it is really to target this guy who's like, he puts a tree up so you can like hookshot up to Akana Valley or whatever, basically. And you can use it to summon these Garo spirits throughout Akana Valley, and they'll give you like little lore and hints about things going on up there. But like, other than that, like, but it's a pretty useful mask in that sense. I'm just like, you don't really use it for a whole lot. You can also use the Garo mask, the Gibdo mask, and the Captain's hat to make the Redeads. You can make them like dance. They'll like literally start dancing. It's hilarious, and actually very useful. So Giant's mask I talked about. Use it for that boss fight. The Gibdo mask lets you talk to Gibdos, which are like the mummy versions of Redeads. And there's actually a whole dungeon, or like a side dungeon or whatever, underneath this well, where it's basically the trading side quest for this game. You essentially bring a bunch of random items like magic beans and Deku nuts and stuff, and some of these are in there too. Like all of this stuff is in that dungeon, except for I think the blue potion. I don't know how you get a blue potion in there. But you bring this stuff to these Gibdos, then they'll unlock little new rooms to the dungeon. It's really cool. It's like a very different sort of dungeon, and stuff like that I really enjoy. The Great Fairy Mask, which allows you to attract stray fairies to you as long as they're released from like their bubble or like the pot that they're in or whatever. They'll come right to you at that rate. So that's a really helpful mask. Cafe's mask, so you use that to basically go around and ask about this kid, like, hey, has anybody seen him? Where's he at? Like, use it to essentially to just try to find him and stuff. Camaro's mask basically lets you like dance. You find this like spirit of this dancing guy off on this like mushroom like mountain cliff thing over near like the entrance to the mountain area, and he's dancing out there like late at night, and then you heal his soul, you get this mask, and you can use it to go help these two ladies in town to like show them this new dance, and then they'll be really impressed by that and they'll give you a heart piece. The Keaton mask, which you get as part of the Anjou Cafe side quest, you can go and talk to a Keaton, which there's these like circles of like bushes like a lot of different areas. If you like take one, pick it up, and then throw it down, and then a Keaton will form. There's like 4 different areas in the game or something that you can do this at. He'll give you a quiz about like little trivia of the game, like how many cows are in Clocktown. There's this like little cow bobblehead statues all around Clocktown. Like he'll ask you how many of those there are, like how old is Tingle, like what color is this, or some shit, and so it's really interesting. You'll get a heart piece if you complete that. The Mask of Sense, which you get from doing that little extra dungeon after you beat Woodfall there. You race the Deku Butler, and you get the Mask of Sense. You can use it to track down like mushrooms and give them to the witches, but like it's not super helpful. But oh well, hell, fuck, I guess it is more helpful than I thought. I'm reading this here and it's like you can use these mushrooms to create blue potions. Well, blue potions are kind of expensive. This is one asshole to sell you one for 100 rupees, which like making money in this game is like really not that hard. But yeah, I mean, okay, so I guess that is a little more helpful than I thought. All right, well, fair enough, fair game. If you want to save 100 rupees or whatever. Mask of Truth. So if you do the first Skulltula house in Woodfall there, you get the Mask of Truth. And the Skulltula houses are both really cool, really good, like, side optional dungeons where you basically essentially just track down these Skulltulas. And they're kind of everywhere, but they're like, you can hear them in the distance. If they're in the room, you can hear them. And then as you get closer to them, you can hear them. And they're in pots, and they're like on little sills, and they're everywhere, dude. They're behind stuff, and like they're fucking everywhere. It's really cool. But you get the Mask of Truth from that. You can obviously like talk to the Gossip Stones and stuff. And they're actually it's really cool because the Gossip Stones in this game, especially in the final dungeon on the moon there, there's 4 like little mini dungeons, and they'll have Gossip Stones. Each one of those will tell you where the masks are that you haven't collected, or just like they'll tell you where the masks are, but in case you haven't collected them, that'll give you some hints on that. And all of the ones around the world are really interesting, and they give you little good developments on the lore and like different hints about how to do certain things in the game. That's really cool. I like that as a mechanic for sure. For finishing the Oceanside Spider House, you get the wallet on the first day, the 500 wallet, which is pretty cool. But you have to finish it on the first day, otherwise the guy won't come and you won't get the wallet. So, also there's a banking system in this game, which basically you just deposit all your rupees into. So you never have to just like, oh, I have 500, that's the max amount, oh shit. like, because there's a lot of things to buy and a lot of things to like do in this game that you need kind of rupees for, like little mini games and stuff. There's only 4 dungeons. You only get 4 full heart pieces, so the rest of those heart pieces are all through this shit that I'm talking about, all these little side quests and whatnot, and I love that. I'm not usually one for side quests in games, but this is the game that, like, side quests are, like, really good in this game. This is the best I've ever seen side quests be, because they actually connect you to the game, the world, and the story, and the emotion, and the lore of the game, and I think that's perfect. That's how they do that, so. Yeah, so the Postman hat, the Romani hat, which you get from doing that side quest after with Crema and all that, where you have to like ward off the guys, the Gorman brothers there. So you get that, and then that'll let you enter the milk bar. So you can buy the Chateau Romani, which gives you infinite magic for 1 3-day cycle. So that's pretty cool. Definitely useful on the final dungeon, and also useful, you know, whenever you need just magic. Like in the Stone Tower Temple boss, when you need magic for that. So the Stone Mask, which is a really good mask, you actually just need to use the Lens of Truth on this. You'll see this like little circle of stones there. Use the Lens of Truth, and then you see this guy there, and you just give him a red potion. You get the Stone Mask. It makes you invisible. So when you're sneaking around the pirate fortress, you're basically invisible, and it's great. You also use it. There's a music box house that like you return water to this area by like using the Song of Storms to get this spirit. There's these 2 like dueling ghost brothers or whatever. They're both like conductors. The one makes this like the Song of Storms. So you go and play it for them. Then water returns to the Akana Valley. There's this little girl. She comes out of this music box house or whatnot, and you can use the stone mask to like get past her. But anyway, there's a really cool thing with her, because like you go inside of there. This is how you get the Gibdo mask, actually. You go inside there, and then you go down the stairs, and then you see her dad is part Gibdo, and he's like, oh, you hear the like battle music, and he's trying to attack you and shit. And then if you play the Song of Healing, it turns him into it makes the mask the Gibdo part, and he's like just regular again. And he has this like really emotional moment with his daughter there, and it's sad, and it's heartfelt and poignant, and I just think that's really cool, you know? A lot of good little moments like that in this game. Yeah, that's all the masks. So what else is there to talk about? Oh yeah, so you get the mirror shield. Actually, this is really weird. Look at this. Can you see that? Yeah, it actually shows the mirror shield as the mirror shield from Ocarina, but in the actual game, it's a fucking terrifying face on the back of the mirror shield, and not like the Ocarina one. So that's interesting. And of course, by doing the side quests and stuff, you can get like the bigger quivers and stuff. There's 2. Let's talk about the mini games. I guess that's probably something to talk about. There's 2 different shooting ranges, much like Ocarina actually. There's one in the swamp, and then there's one in town. And the one in town is like impossible, and the one in the swamp is like impossible to get it perfect anyway. And especially on the original N64 without save states and whatnot, that is just a fucking slog. Those are the hardest 2 heart pieces to get, in my opinion. But I've gotten a lot better over time, and save states and whatnot. Yeah, but like that makes it a lot easier, honestly. When you're not having to do the whole thing again and again and again and again. I would just save state it when I was on a good run, and doing it is just really hard. But you can get the bigger quiver, and you can get 2 heart pieces from doing those games perfectly. And goddamn, doing them perfectly is just fucking a monumental feat. So there's that. So those mini games, There's a treasure chest mini game where you basically like there's a bunch of blocks and you just have to like find the right path through this maze. And if you do it as a Goron, you can get a heart piece from that one. There's the Honey and Darling shop, which they have 3 different mini games, one for each day. There's one where you have to like throw these bombs into basically bomb basketball. You throw it in these things as you're moving around on this spinning platform. There's an arrow one where you shoot targets as you're moving around on the spinning platform, and then there's one where it's like bomb choose as you're moving around on the spinning platform where you have to hit the targets. So you do those 3 days in a row perfectly, you get a heart piece. So, you know, all of these cost money though, so every time you would want to do these regularly in the game, yeah, that would cost you a lot of money, or you could just like reset the game or something and then go through and just do it again. That's how you'd have to do it back in the day, or you save state like you do it now. So there you go. What else? What other mini games are there? There is that it? Is that all of them? That's less mini games than I thought. There's like a lot of little ones too. Like there's a mini game where you go and talk to the postman when he's off duty, and he'll have like a count to 10 seconds mini game. But if you have the bunny hood, you can actually see the counter, and then you can just hit it when it hits 10 seconds there. So that's good. There's like other mini games that aren't really that important, like in the Zora area, there's like a bottle mini game where if you hit like certain bottles or something, I don't usually do that one because it's not important. You just make money off of it or whatever, which there's better ways to make money in the game. So there is the Deku mini game where basically you have to fly to these different little platforms that are moving, and they all have the little Deku flowers on them, but they all have rupees on them, so you collect all the rupees within a certain amount of time. That one used to be kind of hard. I gotten a lot better at that one as well. Also, save states also helps a little bit with that one. I didn't really do much save stating with that one, though. It's really not that bad, as long as you can constantly reset. But having to spend all the money there was kind of what I'm trying to get at with all of this. Is there's a lot of good ways to make money in this game. Money's just really abundant. It's just around everywhere. There's a lot of little treasure chests and a lot of little just like random puzzles you can do in the overworld and just stuff like that where you can just keep getting money, and every time you reset the cycle, there's everything resets, so all those treasure chests go back. So there's different like 100 rupee ones. There's silver rupees that give you 100 rupees. There's one there's like probably 3 of them in town that I can think of, specific 4 of them actually. There's actually part of a side quest. It's not even technically part of a side quest. You can just steal this like guy's reservation because he has the same name as you. This like Goron's reservation for the room at the stockpot in there, and then there's like 100 rupees in there. But also it'll help you like be able to get into the stockpot in without having to like fly up to the upper door or whatever. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, you can just steal his reservation, and then you can hear him sleeping outside and just go see him sleeping outside. So stuff like that even changes, you know, between stuff. Yeah, so also I really enjoyed how they implemented the arrows. In the previous game, the light arrows you get like at the very end. The fire arrows you don't even technically have to get, nor the ice arrows. They're in a totally optional dungeon. They don't really ever do anything with all of those other, aside of the like fire arrows are pretty helpful. And the light arrows help you defeat Ganon. But in this game, the fire arrows, you get each of the arrows in each dungeon. So the first dungeon you get arrows, so you have puzzles based on that. Second dungeon you get fire arrows, so you have puzzles based on that. You light stuff, and you can burn through stuff and that kind of stuff. You know, like there's like lots of big ice things because it's in Snowhead. You know, there's a lot. It's the fire. You burn through lots of big ice barriers and stuff, and like icicles and that kind of thing. Like fire. Yeah. So you know, you get that. And then the ice one, you can like there's another. It's sort of another water temple dungeon. Very based on water, and then like you changing the flow of water and stuff. Like the third temple, there's a lot of like switches where you have to like there's all these colored pipes like around the dungeon, and you can like get to these switches and then make the water flow, farther, and it affects things in the dungeon. It's pretty cool. Anyway, so you get the ice arrows in that dungeon, and you can basically just shoot them anywhere on water, and it'll make little platforms for a limited amount of time. So that's pretty cool. And you can freeze enemies and stuff to jump on them to progress, and stuff. So that's really neat. Like, and then the light arrows, I think they used best of all. It's like you get the mirror shield prior to going to the dungeon, the Stone Tower Temple with the light arrows. You get the mirror shield in the well there. And so they start playing with all these puzzles where light shines down. There's one part where you have to like blow up a big thing to make a big hole with a powder keg, which is like the one other time you need a powder keg in the game. So you got to do that to make light come through, so that you can shine it to get the like one of the light blocks to go. So that's cool. So they have like a lot of good puzzles with that. They have those little sun things again. But once you get the light arrows, you don't even have to worry about the mirror shield. You can just shoot everything that you needed before to shoot with the beam of the mirror shield with the light arrows. So it makes it really helpful. Yeah, so they're just really well utilized, and I like how they brought those back, and those were actually the main items this time. It's not like you get the hook shot in a dungeon. You get that in the pirates dungeon this time. So you kind of get all the like main items in like side dungeons and stuff, and that's neat. Like any of them that like return to the game. Otherwise, they just kind of like put them back into other things. Like another thing about the Goron thing is you can basically use it to break like blocks and bricks and stuff. Rocks is what I was trying to say. So it's very much like a replacement to the hammer. So there you go. That's like another thing like that. Yeah. So, there's lots of cool stuff like that, and I like how they utilize the arrows better and stuff. And a lot of the main items, you just kind of, like I said, you can just get it in different ways. Like bombs, you can just get it right away. That's cool. You have to wait for the second dungeon. It helps exploration of the world. I guess that's something I want to talk about too, is that like a lot of the side content is just opened up to you right away, and I think that's really good. You can't necessarily complete all of it, but you can complete a lot of it, and finding the ways to complete the side content throughout the game is really cool. And it's like, can I complete this now? Do I need to come back to this later? Like, what is the... There's a lot of cool stuff like that. But what I like about this game is the exploration aspect of this game. The world is like not big, but it's like it's dense with it's fairly big for N64, I would say, but it's like it's really dense with content. Every place that you're in, there's always something to do. There's either a heart piece there, or there's something, or you're very there's pretty much there's actually pretty much a heart piece in every like area that you're in, essentially. Like I was trying to think about it, I'm like, yeah, actually kind of, yes. Or a mini game, or there's some significance to like every little area in this game, and I think that's really cool. Like no area is wasted, or is just there to be an area. It's like, no, there's always something cool going on in like every area. There's like the main area you're just passing through, and then there's like always something more there too. There's always like a little bit extra thing, whether it be a mini game or a side quest or content, so the game is very dense with content, and the exploration is kind of tied into that, and you can explore a lot right off the bat. And as you get more items, you can explore more areas, and I just think that's really cool. They don't really gate you off too much outside of like just like you have to progress a little bit through the game or whatnot. I'm just trying to like, I don't know how to articulate that, but like as you progress in the game, you get more and more content that you can do. It's really good. Just the system of how you do stuff in this game, what you unlock, and when you unlock it is really quick, and there's always something to be doing in this game. I just really like that. You're never going to be bored, you know, is the thing. You can always do something, or you can always try to figure out something. That's really what it comes out. If you're just, like, you know, you can look all this shit up on the internet, but, like, back in the day, what we did was we would just sit there and try to figure out, like, okay, how do I finish this, like, side quest or content, or like, where does this go, or who do I give this to, or that kind of thing, you know. So that's the fun of the game. There's also like a mini side quest where it's like, one of the first things you do in the game is you get this moon tier, you give it to this guy so you can use his little flower to fly up to this area, so you can get up into the clock tower to fight the Skull Kid. So then you could take the deed that he gives you, give that to a Deku in the swamp. That Deku will give you one that you can give to one in the mountains, who will give you one that you can give to one in the Zora Hall or whatever, in the coast, and then he'll give you one that you can give to one in the Arcana Valley, and each one of those gives you a heart piece, and then also each one of those Dekus can, like, sell you something too, so that's pretty cool. Like, so if you don't get the big bomb bag, actually, you get the big bomb bag from the bomb shop, or from the curiosity shop if you want to, like, pay extra. But you can get the bigger bomb bag that lets you hold 40 from this Deku in the Goron village there, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, so, like, there's lots of little stuff like that, just stuff hidden everywhere, and I just really appreciate that. And there's secrets. Sometimes it'll lead to something significant like a heart piece. Sometimes it'll just lead to, like, a little area where you get some extra items or something. You know, but they're, like, secrets everywhere. And it's great. It's great. You know, Hyrule feels kind of blank and bare at times, you know, or whatever. That's what everyone always says. But it's like, there's no point or area in this game, and especially in the overworld or whatever, where there's not something going on, you know, or there wasn't at least something going on at one point. Like, you fall down this hole, oh wait, there's some guys, some enemies, oh wait, you defeat them, you get a heart piece, or there's, like, 4 gossip stones down this hole, what the fuck is that? Well, I play this song, alright, I play the same song at all these other 4 holes, that gives me a heart piece, you know. It's like, it's cool, and it's rewarding to explore and try to figure this shit out, and I really like that. And yeah, I like how the side quests are connected to the characters a lot of times, and that really gets you invested in the world and the lore. Like I was saying, that's all really good. Yeah, and I think overall the gameplay too is an improvement over Ocarina, in a sense. Like, the controls are a little bit better, and, you know, all the new forms and all that kind of stuff just really enhances it to a new level. All the masks obviously make it a lot cooler, and just, like, all the items and stuff, and all the different mechanics that they really refined and played with in this game, I think were definitely awesome. So yeah, I mean, I guess that's pretty much, like, there's so much more I could talk about, but, like I don't know. I don't even know. I wouldn't even know where to start with all of that. You know, there's so many little details. I could just ramble for hours and hours about all the little details to the game. How much I enjoy all of that. But I think I've kind of gotten to the heart of the matter for the most part. Talked about, like, a little bit of everything. Um, I think that's cool. I just think the game has a really good emotional core. I think there's a lot to theorize about. I think that's good. Well, okay. So I probably talked about it earlier, but the ending is also just one of the greatest endings of video games ever because of all these characters that you get invested in. You get to see all of them happy again. The world's not ending anymore, so you just they're all content, and you get to see them celebrating and just having a great time. And you know, whereas the Ocarina ending did a very similar thing, this time I was very invested in these characters, and thus the ending was just wow. You know, it's very emotional and very satisfying and very fulfilling overall. Like it's just so special. It's one of the best endings to any video game ever. Um, and the music especially definitely like enhances it just a whole ton. Let's play that actually because I'm kind of wrapping up here as well. So yeah, listen to that. Okay, so like man, I really love Majora's Mask. It's just one of the most unique Zelda games, and they really put a lot of effort into to really thinking about every aspect of it, which is incredible to say because it's like they made it in a year or so. Uh, I don't know how they did it, you know. I really don't. And I know that this game has been panned and really destroyed in recent years. Like, oh man, it just doesn't hold up. It's really not that great. Like, I don't agree with any of that. Like, I love this game, and I'll always love this game. And it's not just nostalgia talking. This game is just really special for its characters, its side quests, and just the amount of content here is just really great. The investment that it makes you feel in the world, the lore, the characters, the music is fantastic. You know, it's so legendary. One of the greatest soundtracks ever. Um, Incredibly emotional and invested in that. It's just like the perfect Zelda game overall, and it makes me feel so good and warm, special. You know, like it's special. It's this special sort of feeling only Majora's Mask could give you, and it's never not fun to play through and just mechanically like figure out how to cut down time and like, you know, really speed run strat, but you know, like not even speed running, just figuring out what's the most efficient way to spend my 3-day cycle here. Okay, do I have time to go do this thing? Like, I can. Oh, I'm in the dungeon, but wait, I made that appointment. I gotta go do this. You know, I gotta run and do that. You know, just like you're always thinking about what time it is and like how that affects things and where you gotta be and like the schedule of the world. And I just think that's so cool. And it's just the content is just like everything is just legendary. If any Zelda game deserves the title Legend, it's this game because it's like there's just so much to do. It's so much fun to experience, but it's also really like a special game to experience. It's a once in a lifetime kind of experience. Like, I don't think they'll ever make a Zelda game like this again. You know, I don't think they'll ever make a game like this again. I don't know if they ever have. I mean, like something like Persona maybe has, like Persona 4 maybe has the amount of content on display and that same kind of investing in the characters and whatnot by doing side quests, essentially with the social links and all of that. This is a very early form of stuff like that. And maybe that's like a refinement of this, and even just like the days and whatnot system. I know like Simon's Quest did that first, but like this is like maybe the best iteration of that. Like 3 days, and everyone's got a pattern, and you repeat the cycle and find it the most optimal route to really to do everything, or like how does this affect this, and really you like see all of the outcomes to everything, to your actions, and it's really powerful to see all that. It's just really unique, you know? I guess that's the other word to describe all of this, is unique, and heartfelt, and incredible. Like, to me, it's just still the best Zelda game, and one of the weirdest Zelda games, and one of the strangest, and just so many secrets to find. And I think that's what Zelda's all about, is the secrets, you know? So that means a lot too. It's the perfect embodiment of Zelda to me. Maybe not like what you would think of when you think of like the most iconic Zelda game. Like, this is Zelda. Maybe that's like Ocarina of Time, but this is the weird, definitely the different side story to that. It's Ocarina of Time's shadow, you know, in a sense, and I really appreciate that about this game. It's still cool, and just hearing everyone's experiences with the game is always fun, and just talking about the game and discussing the game, whereas it's harder to do something like that with an Ocarina of Time. This game is so much fun to discuss because of all of the different aspects of it, the music and the characters and the world and whatnot, and all of the secrets, and passing that on to other people. That's all what makes the game very special, and I appreciate all of that. And for that, I'm obviously giving Majora's Mask a 10 out of 10, and it deserves well the spot of 5 on my top 10 list. So, yeah, until next time, this has been JZNES saying keep it classic, stick around for more reviews, underrated games, and I'll see you guys in the next one. JZ